back here on MVC Sports Today. Tim Wood, very excited to talk to. It's the 45th year of this holiday basketball tournament. It's the Commonwealth Classic. Rich Napolitano is the co-tournament director with Rick Gorman. Rich, how are you?
I'm doing good, Tim.
Hope
Thanks.
you had a great holiday, great Christmas.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Wonderful. Good time with family.
And you got everybody knows Nicky Naps,
Yeah,
your son. So
yeah.
you got
Just
him
got back.
back to Keene State, okay?
Yeah, I just got him back to Keene State this afternoon. The Keene State basketball team's on their way to Ohio tomorrow for a tournament. So
Shockingly, he has immersed himself in basketball culture there as well.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, he still wants nothing to do with any other sport. Of course, basketball's his thing.
All basketball all the time. Well, we a lot of folks around here know Nick Naps and have known his story for years, and very. I'm sure I speak for many, and just sending warm regards his way, and excited that he's still involved in hoops.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the tournament. So tell us what's new and exciting in terms of the tournament this year.
So this year we're going. Well, first thing we're going back to Methuen High School. Which Matt Curran did it for a couple of years, a few years back, and it was very well received at Methuen. It was a great venue for it. Matt and his team are outstanding. They're great to work with, like a lot of the other schools are as well. So that's one change. We're always looking at switching it around, but there's only a few schools in the area that could really hold everybody, and North Andover, Methuen. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get a chance to go back to Lawrence as well. So we're looking forward to that, being at Methuen again. And then we're going back to a two-division format this year. When Rick and I helped to take this over with Commonwealth support 7 years ago, when we had it at Merrimack College, which is a great location for it, ideal setting. The issue there at Merrimack is it's not big enough to continue to hold us, especially for the big games, the semifinals and the finals. We had to turn people away. But
Wow.
So what we had to do is we went back to a two-division format, which was what we did 6 and 7 years ago. And so this year we're doing it again, two different divisions in both the boys and girls, 4-team divisions, and each team basically is committing to 2 games, as opposed to the 3-game format where it's 8 teams. And I think it's from a competitive value, I think we'll still have some great basketball. I think that there's a lot of parity, I think, in some of the divisions. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be nice to go try that again and see how it works.
Um, Tell us a little bit in terms of Commonwealth's involvement, Charlie Dare, and you just had obviously just had the banquet, the kind of kickoff banquet earlier in December at the Burrows. Tell us a little bit in terms of Charlie's and Commonwealth's involvement in revitalizing the tournament here.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I mean, when Rick and I got involved, I got back involved about maybe 10 years ago, nine or 10 years ago, to help out with assigning the officials for the tournament. And then, it's always been a passion of mine. I grew up in Andover. I was around when the first tournament started. I'm dating myself now, but I was back. I was going to those games as a young kid with my dad and my brother and my sister, and so it was a lot of fun. And Rick and I want to see this thing continue in the community. We wanted to make sure it was something that people really continued to follow and wanted to go to during the holidays, whether it be alumni, whether it be families, former players. So we offered to take it over, and we knew that one of the big things of part of the tournament was they always gave a scholarship to one deserving senior from every team. So what I did is, through some help from Bill Burt from the Eagle Tribune, I went and spoke to Mr. Dare and his family and talked to them about supporting our scholarships, and supporting the tournament. We thought we needed to infuse some support into the tournament and bring that aspect of it back, including the banquet, the pre-tournament banquet. So, he committed to it right on the spot. He committed more than what we really were looking for, with two caveats that a student from every team, one student from every team got $1,000 scholarship. And what we did for the boys, we did for the girls. What we did for the girls, we did for the boys. So they had to both be involved. And we've accomplished that, and we're really excited, but we couldn't have done it without them. We really couldn't have done it. And our motto kind of when we
It's a
first started.
phenomenal caveat. It
Yeah,
really is. And
it is. It is. And you know what? It makes all the sense in the world. And, one of our mottos when we first started this, Tim, was change with respect to the past. Rick and I have been around for a long time in this community, so we knew what the past was like with this tournament. So I never had the chance to play in the tournament, but I had a heck of a lot, a lot of fun watching it and following it over the years.
now, in terms of the past, let's talk a little bit about that because something I was really excited to see. When I first started going to the tournament and started to talk to you guys about the tournament, you guys have been looking to do this for a couple of years now, but you got the Hall of Fame off the ground this year.
Yeah, we did. Thanks to Matt Curran. Matt Curran, former player, coach, and now athletic director at Methuen High School. Played in the tournament, coached in the tournament, was an assistant coach in the tournament prior to that. Matt was a great fit for this to help us kind of focus in on, okay, if we're going to start a Christmas tournament Hall of Fame, 45 years of folks, right? Where do we start?
Right.
And we've been talking about it for a couple of years, and we got it. You're right, we did get it off the ground this year, but thanks a lot, and in no small part to Matt. But so what we did was we focused in on the founders this year. The way we saw it, we wanted to focus in on the founders. So for people that have been around in this community for a long time, these are household names. Will Hickson, a former vice principal at my high school, but also a legendary basketball coach. He, along with John Kelleher, former coach and administrator from Lawrence High School, as well as Bob Licari Sr. From North Andover and North Andover High coaching fame. They were the three founders of the boys tournament. And soon thereafter, I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, they pulled together some folks that added the girls piece of this tournament as well. So we're recognizing those three gentlemen. We're also recognizing Jim Tildesley from Andover High School, the longtime legendary high school girls coach there at Andover, as well as Mimi Hyde, who was really part of pulling together the girls tournament, former Methuen teacher and
Hall of Famer. Yep.
Hall of Famer and Hall of Fame basketball coach. So we figured we start with those five and we couldn't go wrong. And so that's what we're going to do. We announced them at the banquet, but we're going to honor them with a short ceremony before the boys championship game on Sunday the 29th. In between the two boys championship games, the white division will be at 5:30. The blue division will be at 7:15. So in between those two games.
When I saw the list, I thought that was just a phenomenal way to kick it off. Was to really go back to where it all began and honor the folks that really are the foundation. Listen, not to kiss your butt or anything, but you and Rick could have been in there. Just considering what you guys have done for the tournament, but the list is really I know it's really special to a lot of people.
Yeah, it is, and they're good people, and I'm really excited for them, to be recognized.
So let's talk a little bit about this this tournament. You've got Londonderry versus Andover, Central Catholic versus Lawrence in the blue division, Bishop Girton versus Methuen, North Andover versus St. John's Prep in the white division. Your Twitter handle's MV Hoops Guru. You are the guru, or one of the gurus for sure around here in terms of anything related to hoops, to high school hoops. What do you see out of this tournament?
My partner in crime, Rick Gorman. He's the handle on the Twitter.
Yes.
Um, but we do a lot of stuff together. I would say that I think, like I said earlier, I think there's a lot of parity this year on the boys' side. Like, let's take the white division for instance. Each of the last few years we've had Methuen and North Andover facing off at some point. Anthony Faraday and the coach of Methuen and Paul Tangles, the coach of North Andover, go way back. They were college teammates.
Absolutely.
They're the best of friends. They're very close.
Very competitive.
Yeah. So I think there may be an opportunity for them to meet in the white division finals. St. John's Prep is a little bit down this year. From what they've experienced over the last few years, but they're young. They're hungry. They're learning. John DeLay he himself is a great coach, but he has a great coaching staff. So you never know what could happen in that North Andover game. And then Bishop Girton, they've had a coaching change this fall. Their former head coach he's been an assistant for a few years, and he's come back now as the head coach, John Fisher.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see. They're playing against a Methuen team that has one of Methuen's starters, and Starters is a former player, Andrew Lucier. So there's a lot of backstories to both of those games.
Absolutely.
That's the white division, and then in the blue division, even if you just start with Andover and Londonderry, there was a few years back we were at North Andover High School, and Londonderry I think knocked off Andover. And then they knocked off Lawrence, and then they ended up playing in the finals. So no one expected that. So Londonderry is very well coached. Nate Stanton is an outstanding young coach. He played in the tournament as well back in the 90s and early 2000s, and so did his brother. And so that could be a tough game for Andover. It's not just necessarily an easy out.
No. Andover's coming in 3-0, and Kyle Rocker's been on fire for him, and they've got Carmen. They've got a pretty deep roster. And some even on most other teams, Slayton might be one of your top one or two, and he's probably 5 or 6 on this roster. But sure. Like you said, Londonderry's not going to be easy out. Everybody's thinking this is easy MVC final here, but not so much.
No, not so much. And then what do you say about Lawrence and Central, right?
Yeah.
That's a classic matchup. And you never know what to expect from one of those games. It could be the closest game, it could be an overtime game, it could be down to the wire, or it could be a blowout either way. So it just depends on the styles that they're playing this year. It depends on maturity. It depends on foul trouble. It depends on the stars on the court. It depends on a lot of different things. And so you just don't know what to expect.
It really is. It's an interesting tournament. Trafficante has been hot for Central, and McKenzie's been outstandanding so far for Central, and Goris and Estrada have been out, and Melendez, Herrera have all been outstanding for Lawrence. I got a kick out of just some of the photos from the banquet, and you guys named Estrada I think the best dressed at the tournament. It seemed like a lot of the guys came in bow ties this year.
Yeah, they do. They came with Jesus Moore, Moose, the AKA Moose, has got those kids. Really, they really responded well to him. And he has a certain expectation, and they're doing great. They're great kids. All of them are really. On all these squads. So you get to know them, whether it be through summer hoops or through fall hoops. You get to know these kids, and which was a great thing for my my son, as many years. So.
Absolutely. In terms of the girls, what do you see out of the girls this year?
The girls, it's going to be interesting because Andover's playing in the white division. Andover lost some talent and lost some scoring, but I think that's I don't know what to expect from Natick. And Natick was a last, a fill-in basically back in September. We had another team from New Hampshire that was going to play, and they had to back out because they lost their coach. So the AD actually had to pick up the coaching reins and didn't think he'd be able to take on everything. So he decided not to play this year. So we got Natick, and people felt as though Natick would be a good fit for the white division. So that's what we did. North Andover, I think, is playing well and better. This is the second year for Coach Jesselyn, Devaney, Devaney, and I'll tell you, she's really got them playing well. They beat Bill Ricker in their first game of the season, which I'm sure was a huge thing for those kids.
At Bill Ricker,
yeah,
opening that new gym,
yeah,
that was a big moment.
Yeah, it sure was, and I'm really happy for her. I remember when Jesselyn was playing for Westford Academy. So, it's great stuff to have them. To have that white division is very competitive. Then you go to the blue division. You got Westford Academy, you get Pentucket, Central Catholic, and then Bedford. Now, I've had the opportunity to see all these teams play. Whether it be in the summer or the fall, and Bedford included. They played in the Merrimack Valley Girls Fall League, and got a chance to see them play. Very competitive. They're going to show up. They're going to play. They're going to play Central hard. Central's got a good squad coming back. Nadeska Bridgewater is going to Merrimack on a scholarship. Emily Downer, fantastic player, is planning to go to Middlebury and play at Middlebury. So that could be a very competitive, very exciting, good girls basketball game.
Absolutely, and Central's 2-0. They waxed Lowell to start, and then it's 56-29 against Concord Carlisle, and Bridgewater and Downer were both huge in that game. So it's loaded.
Yeah, and then Pentucket and Westford, that could easily be your championship game.
Yeah.
John McNamara and Russ Coward are two of the best coaches. They really get these kids playing hard. They play year round. They play in leagues year round. They play in the summer together. Really two top-notch coaches, but two top-notch squads. So, that could easily be, just as much a championship game as the game will be on Monday night, whoever ends up playing. So, I think we got a great field on the girls' side as well. Really do.
So the schedule starts tomorrow. 3:45 is the boys are tomorrow 3:45. Is that correct? What I'm reading there?
2:00.
2:00. Okay.
Yeah.
All
2:00.
I was looking at the old printout. Okay.
Yeah, the first game is 2:00. It's Bishop Girton against Methuen. Second game is Londonderry against North Andover. Third game is North Andover St. John's Prep, and then the nightcap will be Lawrence against Central Catholic.
Quite a nightcap.
Yeah, it sure is. Sure is.
So, and not that I want to jinx anything, but years past we've been fighting some weather, so it's nice to see somewhat clear skies comparatively on the horizon here.
Yeah, it sure is. The last year we were at Methuen, I think it was a couple of years ago, we had an ice storm, and that
had to delay it a day, right?
Yeah, and we had to take some of the consolation games and play 5 or 6 games at one site, and it was just a little. The beauty of this too, and having these two divisions, is we're just going to go 4 straight days at Methuen High School.
Yep.
And being able to do it all in one venue is a lot easier on a lot of people, and everybody knows where the tournament's going to be held, where to go, and ideally that's the best thing for everybody, I think.
For those who want to get out, how much are the tickets?
Tickets are $8 for adults and $5 for students.
Awesome. And you can buy them right at the door.
Buy them right at the door. Nat Curran's got a great team set up right at the door. We do take MIAA issues passes.
Yep.
Whether they're usually people that are related or have some role with the school, and we do accept those passes at the door as well.
Awesome. Anything we missed that you want to get out there about the tourney, Rich?
No, no, I think we appreciate everybody coming out and being part of it still. And that was always our goal. We'd love to be able to have it at a neutral site again and like Merrimack, but maybe in the future if Merrimack expands a little now with going to Division One, maybe we'll have that opportunity. I'm not sure. So right now it's kind of year to year and where we do it, what the format is, but it's really gone well, and Rick and I have really been thrilled to be part of it. And we certainly couldn't do it alone. We have great people behind us, and again, I can't say enough about the Dayer family and Commonwealth Motors.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
I know that it's in terms of moving it around, it's logistical issues and a lot of work for you guys. But I know just in terms of kind of giving folks the opportunity in their own communities to see it, it's
yeah,
definitely a good thing. And I know Methuen loves it. So
yeah,
so
sure do.
absolutely. Rich Napolitano, huge thank you for joining us here the day after Christmas, and less than 24 hours away from the start of the tourney. Huge appreciation to everything you guys do
Thank
for
you,
hoops and just for local sports here in the Merrimack Valley.
thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me, and I hope to see you at the tournament.
You shall.
All right,
All right,
take
take
care.
care, Rich.
Yep, bye bye.